Hello, Children's Discipleship Team. If I've not met you yet, I'm Stacy Lyons, the Children's Director here at Riverside. I just wanted to send you some short videos to kind of get you prepared and excited as we look forward to next weekend. September 1st, it's our promotion weekend. You will start serving on your teams. The kiddos will get new classes. So I want you to just go in feeling confident and ready. I'm going to start just to give you kind of a big picture overview of what we're doing and what our goal is at Riverside when we do any type of programming or activities for our children. We view children's discipleship as our role. We look at families as primary disciplers, as the main stewards of their faith, but we, as Riverside, as the church family, want to come alongside them as secondary disciplers. So we want to help them just to know who Christ is and how to be more like him. That's what we view as discipleship. So we look in the different areas of the church kind of for different stages. Our youngest ages are going through a phase of discovery. Even down in the nursery, they are learning big, basic concepts like who is God? What is the Bible? Those are some foundational things, kind of an understanding they need to have as they move forward. Into our preschool and kindergarten and first grade, our early ages upstairs, they are going through a curriculum that takes them a big overview of the entire Bible. So it takes those basic concepts and starts to put it in the context of Scripture, and to really help them see God's big overarching story, and how the Bible works well together. As we move into some of these ages, you might see some kiddos start to make what we call the next stage of discipleship or a decision. Like the rest of us, they are going to either make a decision to follow Christ, and to submit to God's authority and to take on the blessings of Christ's sacrifice for us. So if you have a kiddo in your class that's seeming to move in that heart direction and is talking about that a lot, it's certainly something to encourage the families with when you interact with them at checkout or check-in. But also you can come to Katie or I as the discipleship staff, and we can help walk the families with the pastoral staff on what does that look like to become a member of the church and to get baptized. Our oldest ages, we look at those ages as development. So they have the foundation of the big concepts, they have the foundation of a big kind of overview of the Bible, and those are the ages that are really going to stick with the church through specific books of the Bible and take a deeper dive. We want to develop their ability to study and to understand Scripture. So I am so excited. I'm so glad that you're joining us in this. We literally couldn't do it without you. You are going to see a short break in the video, and I will magically be at the church, and I will walk you through some specific information for your class. Good morning, Children's Church team. As you can see, I'm coming to you live from the sanctuary. I just want to give you guys a short video and some information on starting to serve in Children's Church. We've been working on this structure all summer, and I feel like you guys are going to really hopefully feel and reap the reward from that hard work. So as you can see, there are 2 reserved rows in the front part of the sanctuary. We are going to do our level best. And I realize it's hard. You're coming in through the front door. There's people outside. And I'm not upset at fellowship. But it would be helpful to just have a minute to talk to you guys. If you could get here at 9:30 and just come straight to the front 2 rows. That way I can give you your any information, the name tag for the morning. That way you guys are kind of ready to go. It'll only take a couple of minutes. Usually it's about the same time that the band is kind of finishing up playing, so it should be relatively quiet. But then you can just leave your stuff in those front 2 rows, and then go get coffee, go fellowship. I'm just asking that you be back to your seat around 9:50, so that when the families really start to get settled in their seats, if the kiddos want to come sit with you, they can. Obviously, we're in a large room of a lot of people, so I just would love to have at least one of you there to make sure that they have their name tag on. So after you guys do worship and the kingdom update, whoever is calling the ushers forward after the offering and the kingdom update will release you guys. And if you haven't done this yet, or if you don't have kiddos in this age, So both adults are going to try to walk fairly quickly back to this door. So you want to have adult 1. So when you signed up as either adult 1 or adult 2, and I'll remind you of that if I remember the week of. One of you is just going to stand at this door and check name tags as the kids go by. Obviously, I have that door propped so that I can record the video, but on the morning of, I want you, the other adult, so adult number 2, to stand in front of that door. So just kind of keeping the kiddos a little bit quiet and calm. Obviously, we're doing it during the greeting time so that if the kids are a little bit loud and talking to each other, that's not an issue at all. That's totally fine. But then as soon as the person, adult 1, over by the check-in door, gives the okay that there are no more kids coming forward, that everyone has name tags, I want the second adult to assign one kiddo to hold that door while everybody files upstairs. And so I'll give you a view of the hallway. You can see, it's fine for them to stand right here in the hallway, but it only should take a couple minutes, so it really should not be that big of a deal. And you can see, like, this would be the check-in door. If you're the second adult, you'd be standing where I am. You'd have someone hold the door, and as soon as everyone's come forward and you've checked all the name tags, we will proceed up the stairs. So obviously you can see this door goes magically up straight to lesson and worship. So you're gonna have the kiddos, as long as the younger class, if the younger class is still going, usually, so they know, and the church knows, not to dismiss before 10:25. That's when the younger kiddos finish their lesson. So if you have to wait in the hall for like 2 seconds, that's not a big deal. It's not that loud. But they should be able to file into the room. So you can see there's a center aisle, and we've changed this room. So now there's only 2 rows. We changed this because we had a lot of kids that were sitting very far near the back, especially the boys, and they were having a really hard time attending. So they're gonna file into their seats, and there's extra seats over by the sound system in case we need them. The teacher will obviously be teaching from up here, and the projector has been mounted to face that wall, and the screen will get moved before we start this weekend. So now, after the teacher goes through the lesson, they do worship, they will do the Lord's Prayer, they will do some movement activities. When you guys break, if you'll see, there's a partition on this side of the room, and there's a partition on this side of the room. So one of your jobs is to lead a group during small group time. So we are gonna have set rosters, and I'm gonna have those pasted behind each of the groups, just so that you guys will know who is supposed to be in your group. I tried my level best to put people in small groups together, or best friends, have everyone to have a friend. And I try to keep the age groups pretty mixed, just because I want there to be older models for the younger kiddos. If we want to change up the groups throughout the year, that is totally fine. But I think over the summer, that's kind of what we saw. So obviously you'll see the screen won't be there anymore, and that bulletin board won't be there, but all your supplies will already be set up. We have coloring tablecloths that we put on the floor to kind of give the kids a space where to sit. And obviously you have markers that they can color on the mat while you guys talk. There will be, now we're gonna do kind of a game that focuses on kind of building discipleship. So like this week, the game is Pass the Prayer. So it's just teaching the kids how to pray in a group. Often they have a hard time not knowing, like, when are they done? When do I start talking? And it'll prevent some of them from praying at all. So it's a fun way to practice that praying in a group. And if you're serving this week, you should be getting that information in your email if you want to look over it. So when it's time for group, it's really easy. You literally just pull that bar on the partition, and now you can see it gives you guys some sound barrier. It kind of like gives the kids a contained space. That was one of the things we had issue with, like the kids, if they were antsy, were just getting up a lot and moving around in the space, distracting other groups. So I'm hopeful that will be helpful. When you get into your group, the first thing that you can do, you're always gonna have snack and water. We are attempting, because these kids are older, unless they ask for water, we're not giving everyone a water cup. And you'll see there's always more water cups we can get right in the hallway outside the door, but we're trying not to encourage them to like down a bunch of water and need to go to the bathroom. Obviously, if they need it, that is totally fine. But at this age, just from a health perspective, they don't really need it. The snack is just more there to give them some input, to kind of wake them up a little bit, to get them going. Group 2, which will be led by the teacher, will be right here in the middle, kind of in the teaching space. So they'll have room and they'll have their own space as well. And then lastly, and again, I'll put signs in the rosters for each of all the groups. But there is a third space now. We've cleaned out this space. You can see the partition again, kind of gives you some privacy. But it's just kind of a designated space for you guys to be able to have groups. So you will all still have your snack and your water and your markers. Your placemat will already be set out. It's kind of the advantage of having and using the partitions, apart from just like a sensory help for the kids to not get overwhelmed. It also is just going to help us be able to have things already set up. So you guys are not doing setup the morning of as much when it's time to break for group. All right, well, I hope that gives you some more information. Like I said, you will walk up when they dismiss for Children's Church up to the lesson in worship. You're really focusing and kind of connecting with the kids during when the teacher is teaching, being an imitative model for them during worship. Just even something cheesy. Again, this is my personality, but I kind of look around during worship and like give people smiles. It's just an encouragement to the kids. Like, yes, you are doing what we want, what we desire for you to do, to worship the Lord. Not what we want you, we desire for you to do. Also, it is helpful to have crowd control. So one thing, I know I'm just like kind of blankly staring you at chairs, but if you stand kind of behind the rows, or if there's extra seats, if you want to sit, if you want to sit in the row with the kids, that's totally fine. But it is a lot easier if a kiddo is acting out. We are going to act on a 3 warning policy. So the first time we just kind of ask them, like, buddy, I love you. I need you to pay attention. Please sit on your bottom. Or I need you to, stop clicking your pen, or whatever it is. And mainly we're thinking, are we distracting anyone else from their ability to worship the Lord? If it is, we're going to try to get them to kind of correct that behavior. If they refuse, then they need to be removed from the space. They can be sit in a chair. I might put a chair behind each of the partitions that can still see the stage. Obviously not like back in a corner. But we're going to ask them one more time to re-engage. If they are still just not listening and kind of defiantly ignoring you, we're going to walkie the coordinator. We're going to pull the kiddo out in the hallway with the coordinator. And the coordinator can either go in the room to help, and if you feel like you can speak to the child, if the child is just really not listening, we can use this space right here. If the child is really not listening, then we want to make sure that we grab the roster, because that'll obviously have the parent contact information. And we're just going to text the parent. Now, the option when the parent comes is that you just explain kind of what's been happening. I try to emphasize, I want you to be in this room. I love you, and I want you to learn about God. But if you are unable to listen to me, then I'm going to have to get some help. So either myself or the coordinator is talking to the parent, and their option at that point is to remain. I would prefer for parents to remain in the class with the kiddo and walk them through this process, just so that the parent has an idea of kind of what's been going on. And often at this age, kiddos are a lot more attentive to their parents than they are to us, which hopefully will change a little bit since we have got some more consistent faces. But the other option for the parent, obviously, is they're welcome to take the child with them back to church. We do have some kiddos that are just very attached to their parents, and it's just not their day, and that's okay. I want you guys to feel empowered and comfortable with making that call. So if you have corrected the child twice and they are just really defiantly just refusing to obey and refusing to listen, you can enact that protocol, and the coordinators are aware of that. All right, I hope this has been helpful and informative, and I look forward to seeing you.